Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back. First class of 2024. Hannah, are we live? Are we ready to go? All right, thank you. Okay, great. Yes, please. Yeah, okay. Okay, so let's begin as usual with our Sharanagata Dinarta prayer. It's at the top of your sheet that you should have there. It's the chant sheet. Various mantras on it. At the very top, you have a prayer to Narayani with the English translation and vocabulary below. So if you'd like to read through that on your own, you can do that. We'll do 11 repetitions. So let's go ahead now. First, though, and close the eyes. Turning inward as you breathe. Take a few deep, intentional breaths together as a way to kind of come home to the body and then release tension with the exhalation. You can feel any tension melting out of the face, the jaw, with the out breath. If you want to sigh, these last couple breaths you can. It's okay. And then let the respiration be natural. Just have this quality of arriving here. As Thich Nhat Hanh says, I have arrived. I am home. It's a wonderful short phrase called a gata that you can say to yourself whenever you want, just whether you're meditating or walking in the front door or taking a breath. I have arrived. I am home. Meaning that you are here with yourself now, of course, turning inward and breathing. And as much as possible, being present with what is without fixing or changing anything. And as we open this new year, this sort of arbitrary beginning and ending, which in a way is neither here nor there. There are many New Years throughout the year in various parts of the world. This is just one of them. But we can also always, use this juncture as an opportunity to refresh our commitments, our intentions for our life and our practice. So let's drop in here for a moment before we utter the prayer to Narayani, the great mother, in her form as protectress and guardian over those, all of us in samsara, to arouse a heartfelt motivation for our meditation practice, our dharma practice, our life, our healing, our learning, to enrich our life, to increase our degree of happiness and fulfillment in our own life, and then also broadening that to include the aspiration to be of benefit in the world. This is why we come to practice, so we can heal and we can help those around us heal as well. It's called the twofold bodhicitta prayer. May I be of benefit. May I practice so that I can awaken for the benefit of myself. It's the first aspect. And the benefit of others, the second aspect. And let that be a personal prayer for you. How will that feel to you? Even internally articulating it as a prayer. When we have a vast motivation, we have vast results. Sharanagata dinartha, Sharanagata dinartha, Paritrana parayane, Paritrana parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute. And we'll glide right into our practice. So make sure you're comfortable. Take a moment if you need to readjust. We will sit for 2 gatikas, which are 2 24-minute segments of time to make 48 minutes. At the first juncture of the 24 minutes, I'll ring a bell. And that will be either, if you're locked in and feeling good, it will just be a mindfulness bell. But if the body needs to move, then you can take a few seconds to shift, move, lie down if you were seated, sit up if you were lying down, change your position, whatever you need to do, but do so mindfully without losing the concentration. Without losing the concentration. So let's begin now. Making sure you're comfortable. Returning again to this feeling of simply letting yourself be with what is in this moment, in this moment, in this moment. This turning inward and this feeling of, I have arrived. I am home. Feeling more and more at home in your own skin. With each breath, releasing tension with the out breath. When in doubt, relax. And that's a literal instruction. When the mind is lost in doubt or distraction or anything else, when you notice that, relax. Let go of ideation with the out breath and give yourself permission to simply be with the breath in the body. Simple yet so profound. Get interested in that. Enjoy it. Starting from the get-go with clarity, relaxation, stability, ensures that to a certain degree the sit will move in an enjoyable direction. If you start the sit distracted and kind of lackluster, dim, lax, it's quite hard to get the clarity. It can happen, but why not start now? Quality of wakefulness, presence. You may enjoy feeling the breath in the belly or throughout the whole field of the body, in and out. Releasing distraction with the out breath. And come back to the breath in the body, your anchor. And if the breath is too subtle at times, even the palms resting on the tops of the thighs can be your anchor. Come back. Come back. The eyes are either closed or slightly open. If they're open, they're gazing at a comfortable angle towards the floor. Soften the gaze. Another helpful anchor may be to count the breath from 1 to 21 as many times as you need to. The count is an internal count at the top of the in-breath, just a light touch. 1, and so on. Just let that hook the mind with the breath in the moment. With compassion, with a quality of spaciousness. Come back and stay with yourself. Drop beneath the surface waves of the ocean into the stillness of the depths of your being. Without controlling the breath, let it be free and loose If it's shallow, let it be shallow. If it's deep, let it be deep. If it's short, let it be short. If it's long, let it be long. And rest in stillness. Let the body be still like a mountain. Letting your meditation be suffused with relaxation. Soften the inner body. There's a hardness around the organs, the chest, the hips. Soften with the breath. Relaxation is the first ingredient to meditation practice. So if the breath can seek out any areas of tightness, of knots, and then with the out breath, release and unravel those knots. And now shifting from the breath as your anchor to the domain of the mind itself, the feeling is that you're observing the mind like a shepherd observing her flock on a vast open plain, relaxed, at ease, spacious. And when we let the mind have that open space, we're able to settle the mind in its natural state with ease, without forcing, In fact, thoughts begin to naturally liberate themselves as they arise. If you recognize a thought is a thought, it naturally can dissolve back into the space of awareness. The awareness is what pervades thought. Rest in the vantage point of awareness rather than the vantage point of thought. Can you stabilize that? And when the body is still, the mind can get still. If you're fidgeting and moving, the mind will not have a chance to settle in its natural state. Clear, limpid, like a pond that's undisturbed. The soot settles to the base of the pond and the water becomes clear. Feel the mind like that clear, limpid pond of water. The breath is still there as a background anchor, but it's not the primary anchor. We've shifted into taking the mind itself as the path, observing the space of the mind. And when thoughts, feelings, impressions, memories, and so on arise, you can view but not grasp, not cling to the thoughts. Release with the out-breath, release into presence, and rest. And drop right back in. Releasing into a quality of relaxation, of being in the present moment. Of settling the mind in its natural state, of feeling, of being a shepherd on a vast open plain, just without confinement, without tightness, just observing thoughts arise and pass within the field or space of the mind, just like a shepherd watching her flock. And the next ingredient to meditation is stability. It's moment to moment awareness of the mind, of the breath, of this present moment. That each breath, each moment is like a pearl on a necklace, and you're threading it with your awareness. The thread is the awareness is the thread. So within that field of vast open relaxation, introduce the quality of stability like the earth, concentration. But beware of getting tight. This is when you return back to the quality of relaxation and the stability building with each moment, with the strengthening of the fire of your awareness. Glowing and growing within this space of awareness. And in that way, each thought becomes a log on the fire of your awareness. It blazes up. Thoughts are not a hindrance, but in fact they're fuel for awareness to glow, to grow stronger, stable. And that's when the luminosity begins to dawn, the third ingredient to meditation. It's a radiance of awareness that begins to shine through, a clarity imbued with luminosity, held by the stability of your awareness. And in the vast, relaxed, open space of the mind. Relaxation, stability, and clarity. Up until now, we've been cultivating shamatha, calm abiding, concentration, meditation. First using the breath and then the mind itself as the anchor. And now from within this relaxed, open, stable space, we can introduce Vipassana, deep seeing into the nature of your mind itself. And we do this by continuing to rest the mind in its natural state, uncontrived, unfabricated, without any modification, letting the mind rest in its own nature, just as before. And from time to time, ask yourself, who is concentrating? Who is releasing? And if it is the mind, then ask again, what is this very agent that concentrates or releases the mind? Look and then release and rest again. Oscillating between looking and then resting. Can you find that thing called the mind? Look and release and rest. You may not find the thing called the mind, that nugget of selfhood that we assume is in here somewhere. And yet there is a quality of awareness, quality of knowing, a quality of cognizance. Bask in that. Look and release. And you may even identify awareness itself and rest. Now, for the last 5 minutes of our sit, we will shift back into shamatha, but this time using a mantra. Mantra can also be an anchor for your attention. And through the mantra recitation, we will also begin to generate these heart prayers of healing, of liberation, of refuge, of peace that can spread out like the rays of the sun shining across the world, filling all of space. If you like, you can imagine that as you chant this mantra, then the sun of your bodhicitta, your compassionate heart, your Buddha nature, begins to shine even more brightly at the heart center, your heart chakra, and that orb of light then sends light out through every cell of your body, out through the pores, filling all of space. The mantra we'll chant is a simple mantra to Tara, the Savioress, the female Buddha of compassion. So in that way, we're asking her also to rain down her blessings upon this world that is in such great need, more now than ever. The mantra goes, Om Namo Arya Tara. Om Namo Arya Tara means, Om, I pay homage to noble Tara, Arya Tara. Om Namo 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 Om Namo Aryatara, 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 Om Namo Om Namo Aryatara, 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 Om Namo Aryatara. So another technique for releasing into presence is to flop back. Well, in the midst of like at the end of meditation or in certain junctures of the meditation. So I want you to try this. So shift forward off the front of your cushion, your big mat. So your butt's on the floor. And then make sure, you don't have anything jagged. I want you to just set yourself up. You can push the cushion back so that your head doesn't hit the floor or anything like that. As much as safe and this feels good to you, I want you to just sit up nice and tall and then flop back. Let yourself and rest. Yes, rest. Yes. And the chair people, you can do whatever you want to do. You can lie on the floor if you want. Just let yourself lie there for a while. Sometimes the spine needs to take a break from gravity. I just feel like a corpse pose. Just let your whole body, mind flop. Release into presence. The name of this class. This is it right here. Let it go. Any residual tension or holding from the meditation, just let it go. They say that Ananda, the Buddha's assistant, his attendant, attained liberation when he was shifting from the seated meditation to lying down. It was that moment of pure relaxation, just letting go. And then it dawned on him. He got it. Good. And then when you're ready, now just reach your hands over your head. You can stretch out like a cat if you want. You can do a spinal twist. Just let your body tell you what it needs right now. You can hug the knees into the chest. You can turn your head from side to side. Whatever you want. If the people in the chair, you want to stand up or, just shift the energy a little bit, you can do what you want. And then let's go ahead now and start to come back up to our cushion. And I'm doing something a little different tonight. From time to time we do this, which is I'm going to ask you to get into a group of 3. I think we can do that. 2 or 3, maybe mostly 3. And you can just do it within your proximity, clumping. And what you're going to do is each of you will just share for 1 to 2 minutes, it's not long, about how awareness can help you move into this new phase of the year, this new phase of your life, and kind of like facilitate what it is that you want in your life. So bringing this meditative awareness into your life. So we can just sit here quietly and think. You can close your eyes if it helps you to think about it. Again, I'll repeat. What we've been cultivating in the meditation is this quality of awareness, right? Awareness of thoughts, awareness of the body, the breath. So that quality of awareness that suffuses all of your thoughts. When you can rest in that vantage point of awareness, how does it enrich your life, is another way to put it. And how do you feel it start to shift your self-awareness, your clarity, whatever, your productivity, your innovation, however, it doesn't have to be spiritual, but this quality of awareness and you kind of plugging into that through your practice. How do you envision it, or how do you feel the seeds of it taking root and blooming within your life? Is that clear? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm getting at? All right, so let's break into groups of 3. Go for it. Don't be shy. Turn to your little neighborhood. And I want to make sure we've all got it. So don't be shy. We got 3 here. You got 3 there. There's a group of 2 over here. We could also have a group of 4. Yeah, if you want to be a group of 4, why don't you 4 get together, okay? And then once you got your clump, you just say hi to each other, introduce each other. Maybe say your names. Just have a little cash time here. Just say, hi, my name is. Okay, and then, so go ahead and start. I'll set a timer for 2 minutes. So decide who goes first. And then, be close enough so you don't have to holler. People are going to be talking. So don't be shy, people. All right, good. And then choose who goes first and then start. How does it feel to rest from the vantage point of awareness? Not just in meditation, but in your life. How is that infusing your life with the quality of meaning and so on? Go ahead. Just 2 minutes. And then I'll ring the bell for the next one.
I think in this space, two instances where I see it kind of like manifesting in that sort of a sense effortless way. Before this had to be a lot of wrangling to have it happen. It's like a little moments where it's like, I kind of surprised myself. One of them sense of relationships and all sorts of great years onto where your habitual conditioning is versus like kind of when things go and it's like a newish relationship. One of the first more like real talky type things where it's like it wasn't bad, but like conditioning in another world where it's like brought some unnecessary shit. I was watching or like when you're talking, we're driving, I'm actually really calm right now. I'm not activated. And I felt like a little something that I wasn't burned by it, you know what I mean? And like it's just like, oh, look at that, that's that little like kind of anxious, insecure part of you that is still like conditioned there. And it wasn't like I was mistaking myself as an it was just realized that it was effortless. It seems like awareness conversations one, you can also see that too. Well, someone was positive all around. And I did oh, I just want to get better. So yeah, that's my goal. I think will help me do it like
I've been to a life. I've been to a life more.
In the way that like it reminded me of
And
like
when there's sad moments or you think that sometimes you forget about awareness and you just like feel how to you feel like going back to certain
spiraling stuff. I was like, you know what?
For me, I
can work with this.
oh, I am. It's sad.
All right, so wrapping up that thought, and then shifting to the next person. And if you don't need to use the full 2 minutes, if you don't want to, you can switch before, especially the group of 4. You can shifting, and now the next person starting. And really allowing this to even suffuse your experience now is awareness. How is awareness suffusing your speaking and your thinking and sharing now? So switching now.
How can awareness, how can you see awareness helping you?
Are not foreign. And so I've been working some of that. So my actual hard to that experience. Like all that. So I'm like,
The second time I'm doing meditation, so that's the intention, I guess. I think I want to get better at this. It's pretty cool. I've done like some headspace stuff, but they're trying out like in some different
Starting to wrap up that thought.
Okay.
Then when you're ready, the next person begins.
It's a huge
Oh, you guys went really fast. You're done before everybody else. You could still, if you want to share, or you could just sit quietly. If you want to. We've got about 2 more minutes. A couple more minutes.
I like this one more. Yeah, it was just like, no, yeah, I can see why.
You're just meditating. You're just meditating. I was like, the first one I got, the second one. Yeah, the third one was happy.
You know what I mean? Just like that could be. So,
Okay, starting to wrap up that thought. The last speaker.
Conception or distraction or
Good. And so now starting to wrap up that thought. Yeah, let's begin to come back and thank your buddies, your new friends. Hopefully you feel you've made some bonds, met some new Sangha members. And then let's come back to the room. So how was that for you? So we don't do the breakout thing very often, but it can be a nice way to change things up, especially from the whole didactic thing of teacher here, students there. So I'd love to hear from maybe, 2 or 3 people. How was that for you? And even like, did you get a sense of like resting in awareness or non-awareness while you were trying to express what that is for you in terms of how it suffuses your life? How can you be more awake to your life, Anyway, I want to hear from you. Anyone want to share? Yes, Jordan. Maybe say your name so the group can also know. Thank you.
Found myself having a challenging time, like kind of defining for myself, like awareness versus non-awareness. So I don't really feel like I gave like a clear answer. I felt like I just kind of said that to my group, or at least that's what it felt like to me. I was just like, I'm not quite sure what awareness is. So that was cool.
Well, it's a good point because it's an important Dharma teaching, awareness and non-awareness, There's Rigpa and Ma-Rigpa. Ma-Rigpa is unawareness, sometimes translated as just ignorance. But really what it is a quality of not knowing. So, okay, how does it feel to be in that state that might feel a little veiled or cloudy or confused or lost or however that manifests for you? But in Buddhism, ignorance, really what there's pointing to with that marikpa, meaning not knowing, non-awareness, is actually an unawareness of the way we exist, And I know that's probably not what you were talking about, but it made me think of that when you use the phrase non-awareness and awareness, a classic kind of juxtaposition there. And so when we're in a state of not knowing how we exist, not knowing, really being in touch with our Buddha nature, for example, but rather identifying onto the kind of conceptual mind as who we are, then we're in marikpa, we're in an state of unknowing. And then if we're in a state of knowing, we know our true nature and we're tasting it, at least we can feel it suffusing our life in a way where we're not separate from it. And that's what I'm trying to get at, with the meditation. I edge you guys into this a lot, and that is the feeling of, can you rest from the vantage point of awareness that suffuses all these thoughts? That's awareness. That's awareness. It's actually not something complicated. It's not complicated. It might not be easy to stabilize it or even taste it. Sometimes you might need to, put some time in on the cushion to start to feel that. But at the same time, like right now, it's suffusing your awareness. It's like right now. You're aware of what I'm saying. That's awareness. So it's not some kind of philosophical, lofty thing. It's a quality of knowing. So then if you can identify with that, then you're in Rigpa, then you're resting in knowing awareness. If you're identified with the SEM or the conceptual mind, then you're resting in conceptual mind. You're grasping onto that, or you're identifying onto that as like all you are. It's like mistaking yourself for the surface waves rather than understanding you're the ocean. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up and for being transparent about like, whoa, that was a bit, intense. Yeah, I think you weren't the only one, but it was kind of meant to be that way. Like, I feel like, teachers don't do us any favors by keeping the training wheels on all the time, like, because some people are ready. And if you're not, it's kind of like self-secret, if you're not, then it kind of, it'll come, it goes over your head and you'll get it next time, or 10 years from now, or next lifetime. But some people are ready. And so why waste time, We don't have infinite time. So I felt it was kind of fun to say like, okay, even the people who are new tonight, like what does awareness feel like and how can it inform your life if you can rest from that more knowing? Who's next? Who wants to share? Yes, tell me your name.
I'm Debbie.
Debbie.
And I noticed that when I started talking about awareness, I was not very aware of myself and like everything.
That's a great awareness.
Went away, and now like I don't really remember what people said, specifics, but I feel like I had an awareness of like their essence and who they are and their energy. Like when I see them again, oh, I knew these people. Like it's different. It was a different kind of awareness, not so verbal.
Yeah. Nice. Like a nonverbal awareness, like you were connecting more with their essence or the feeling that you were getting from them. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, and even just being aware that you were unaware, or being aware that, as soon as the words, sort of the concepts starting to form and the words needing to express those concepts, then awareness felt veiled, right? And what was that for you? I'm just curious, like, we all have that. What do you think that was? Like, why?
I don't know. I wonder if there's a lot of just social norms and like automatic things you do when relating to people, and so it's like that kind of just takes over.
Yes. Yeah. So noticing that, and like, do I have to do that, right? Like then when we notice it, then we have the choice. Like maybe I don't have to be so self-conscious maybe when I talk. Maybe I can, through meditation, like meet that self-conscious insecurity enough so that like I've handshaked with it or embraced it, however we like to like give it a bear hug, like I'm here, you're cool, it's okay, so that then when we're out in the world and it comes up, we're like, oh yeah, I know you. It's like the Buddha saying, Mara, I know you. When Mara appears to him and says, if you turn back and go back to the palace, in 7 days, you'll be a universal monarch, which is basically a way of saying it. You'll be the king of the world. Mara is like the devil, it's like the mythical figure in Buddha's life that kept heckling him. But he was present enough, he was aware enough to be able to see Mara for Mara as the apparition of his doubts, of his fear. And so he said, Mara, I see you. you know. So can we say that to our little Maras as they pop up in our heads when we're like, I'm giving a presentation and I'm so nervous I can't even breathe, and then we get frozen. But what if we can be like, okay, Mara, I see you, or oh, isn't that sweet? Oh, or however, whatever works for us, we find our way with that through therapy, through lots of meditation. Then we apply it out in the world. And then the awareness can shine through, because the awareness is like your sun. It's always shining. They say awareness, Rigpa, Rigpa is the word in Tibetan. Rigpa is like the sun. It's ever shining. And it's just temporarily obscured by the clouds, but it's always there. Like Sogyo Rinpoche said, when you go up in an airplane, you fly up above the clouds, you realize, oh, the sun is always shining up here. Or at least when the earth is, you're in the right positioning. So that's what I'm saying. Rest from the vantage point of awareness. Can you always not, we're not always going to be able to do it, but as much as possible, be tuned into that and feel that. Like right now, as I'm speaking to you, I'm trying not to lose my awareness. And if I'm really practiced up and centered, I don't have to try. It's just happening. Like now I'm starting to get back into it. Like, okay, like right now, you feel that? Like when somebody's really with you, that's Rigpa, that's presence, that's the Rigpa shining through. If I'm not with you, I'm kind of like, I'm veiled. I'm not able because I'm afraid. It also has that quality of fearlessness, like I know who I am, so I don't have to be afraid. It's not always easy to do. No. Anyone else? Yes, and say your name, please.
I'm Tanvi.
Tanvi? Thank you, yeah.
Well, for me, the meditation was really uncomfortable. Like, I just felt so much of I was internally like yelling and just frustrated, and it was really uncomfortable to be sitting there for that long. And it's interesting. I really resonated with what Jordan said about like not really knowing the difference between awareness and non-awareness, because I don't necessarily feel like it's like a distinct place. I think there's kind of this whole spectrum along it, and you can be in the thoughts, like you were saying, like okay, in the content of the mind. But I think I've seen even in myself, like it can be helpful to be there. Like even if I tell myself, oh, I want to be in awareness, but I have like all of these thoughts coming up, I can't like suppress them. I have to kind of just let them through before I can really come to a more calm place. And so just kind of allowing my mind to just go, like I have a storm internally. And I would try to just be like, okay, just calm down, and just be in awareness. But it's not, I think when I like force myself to do that, when it's not natural, it doesn't even it feels like forced, and it doesn't actually work.
Yeah.
So then I just
true.
let myself have the tantrum internally, and all the storm inside my mind. And then like there was a moment I was like, okay, I'm just watching this happen, and it calmed down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why maybe the approach, do you remember during the meditation when I said rest as if you were a herds person or a shepherd, observing your flock on a vast open plain? It's a common approach, particularly in the style of Buddhism that I've been trained in, which is called Dzogchen, or Great Perfection. It's a very spacious style of meditation where I'm not like, they don't say, now focus on your breath through hell or high water and obliterate every thought as it comes up, or you use the word suppress every thought, you said suppressing. Like I never say suppress thoughts, I never would tell you to do that. And that's because my training doesn't tell me to do that. And I, instead open it. The other analogy is like a wild horse when you're trying to train a wild horse, and it kind of feels the movement you were making reminded me of like that kind of energy, like the tantrum, like When you try, they say, when you try to train a wild horse, if you control it too quickly, it will just flail. It will react and rebel and will be harder to train. The mind is the same way. If we try to clamp down on it, it rebels. So I think that your fidgetiness and your inability to settle in the beginning was a part of that. You were feeling claustrophobic. You're like, fuck. I've had that too. Like, I'm stuck. Everyone's is still and I can't be still and I'm in so much pain, Yeah, that's enough to keep people out of the meditation class. Like, I don't want to go do that again. So I could feel it. You sat in the front row. I could feel you.
I was like, stuck to me when you made the comment.
Yes, I was. There was a couple other people. You weren't the only one. It's not bad. This is fun. It's funny. It's totally normal. And I've been you. I've been like, oh my God. Ooh. I remember once I went on a meditation retreat and my kid we had just discovered that she had lice. And so I was supposed to go on this meditation retreat at Spirit Rock. You're silent. You're very strict. Don't move. And I had like a day to like clean up her hair. And I had my friend look through my hair and she's like, you're clear. You're all right. But I swear to God, I got in that meditation hall the first night and my scalp started crawling to the point where I was so convinced I had lice. Because of course I was like, no, this is just in your head, you're just freaking out because you just had this thing. But then it was so bad that I finally, the next day, I asked for an interview with one of the co-leaders. And so you can do that. You can have little meetings with the teacher, right? And I went in there and I told her what was happening. And I said, can you look at my head? Because I think I really have lice. And she looked and she said, no, honey, you don't have lice. And then it totally calmed it down. And I was able to just be in the rest of the retreat. But that's like the mind can just really tweak you, and then if you feel confined, it can be worse. So I just wanted to give a little comedic relief here. So I'm not singling you out, but yeah, it happens. And so the approach that you're already getting at is like, yeah, I need more space. I need to let my wild horse buck and flail and run around and do laps for a long time before, the horse comes around and then it's like, the horse whisperer is there and saying, yes, okay, are you ready now? Yeah. And then you're there, and you don't have to force. You just arrive, So like that, like this stuff, what I was trying, even though I'm asking you to be totally still, it's about having more spaciousness within the mind, So even though the body can be still, hopefully it's in a position, I think, really taking it seriously. Like, I need to make sure my body's happy from the get-go. Like sit up on the cushion, make sure the knees are good, your spine's good. If you're starting in a position where you're slouched or the hips are hurting, then, it's an uphill battle. I encourage people to lie down, just lie down, start lying down. And I often teach how to do that. I didn't tonight, but you could do that. That could be a good way for you if you're feeling uncomfortable in the body, so that it doesn't get too much in the way of the mind. But yeah, be like the shepherd, watching her flock, just letting them roam. Just these thoughts roam. Just let them roam because it's a vast open plain. There's no problem. Where's the problem in that? I mean, yeah, there might be a wolf. But for now, there's no wolf in your mind. You just release and open. Let the thoughts bubble up. At the beginning, they might be like, but if you just keep staying in that vast, open, spacious awareness, then they get tired. It's like you let the mind tire itself out. It gets tired, and then you're there, and then you can start to meditate. That's really when the meditation starts. Usually it's like when the teacher rings the bell, you're like, no, wait, I'm just starting, right? Does that happen? It's like when you hear the bell, suddenly you're like, yeah, this feels good. Does that happen? Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. Good. Oh my goodness, time flew. I didn't even get to the slogan. I think that was all kind of like my subconscious resistance to this slogan. It's actually a beautiful slogan. It's really great. But we're getting into the 6th point. And so we're not going to go into it. I just want to give you a little preview for the next time I'm with you. That the 6th point, it can kind of sound like there are a bunch of one-liners that are like telling you what not to do. It can kind of sound like a bunch of thou shalt nots. Thou shalt not this, thou shalt not this. But it's a way to maintain mind training, this Lojong practice of like your commitment, your resolve to your practice, kind of giving you guardrails of like, how do I bring this into my life? And how do I, refrain from engaging in harmful thoughts, harmful conduct that might hurt others or myself. And by doing kind of like, it's like a child. How many people are parents in the room? Right. So, and if you're a parent, kids don't need the vast open plain. Like if they get the vast open plain, they're going to rule the roost and cause havoc, right? But so the children need guardrails. They need to know where the boundaries are so that they feel safe. They want to feel safe. Likewise, when we're learning and training in the Dharma, it's nice to kind of have some guardrails. And through the discipline of like, not like avoiding non-virtue, enacting virtuous actions, things like that, like basic Buddhist ethics teachings. What they say begins to happen, and I've definitely experienced this in my life, is that bodhicitta begins to dawn and it gets stronger and stronger. What is bodhicitta? It's that altruistic intention to do whatever you do, whatever you're doing. You do it out of kindness. You're doing it, you want to be of benefit, not out of self-centered, competitive, or like, oh my God. But like, okay, how can I meet you in this moment with compassion? So these guardrails that we're about to jump into in the future classes, not right now, are about that. Like, don't do this, and here's how you can avoid that, and here's how we do it. So it's good. It's good meaty stuff. But this is the 7th point mind training. We're on slogan number 23 tonight. We would have been that. We're not even halfway. We're a little less than halfway through the 59 slogans. And yet we're on point 6. There's only 7 points, meaning 7 chapters of the mind trainings. So we've got, over 25. We got 26. No, 36 more. I'm not great at math. 36 more slogans. And we're practicing, we're in the last 2 chapters. So, a lot of it is like how to bring it on the path, how to bring practice on the path. So, I feel like I need to let you go. We could go till 9, but no, we won't do that. I think this was important. I think it's nice to break the frame a little bit and let you guys learn from each other, in the little groups and so on. So thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And and I want to also let you know that I won't be here next week. My dear friend and colleague Jenny Turbell will be here. She's a wonderful teacher. She subbed for me before, and people were, really appreciating her perspective. She'll give you a different flavor than what I give you. I highly recommend coming. I will ask her to do the slogan. She'll do slogan number 23. She'll do it great. She'll really show up for it, I'm sure. So we will keep moving through with the slogans. She will do slogan 23, and then I'll keep going with 24, moving forward. When I get back, I'll be on retreat. Okay, thank you, everybody. I hope you are off to a good start with your 2024. Let's take a moment and dedicate the merit, the positive energy of our time together for the benefit of all beings everywhere. This feeling of really, the sky's the limit with your mind, with your imagination, your prayer. Often I like to think of the prayers as like a blanket of light or blanket of healing or protection that blankets the whole world, the whole planet Earth, and brings liberation, safety, peace, everything that's needed. And we'll imagine that blanket of light and protection, liberation, moving throughout space, filling all of space, even beyond the world, into infinite space with the sound of this bell. May it be so. Thank you. Any announcements, Hannah?
A lot of new faces today, so thank you all for coming. And I'll announce one event that we have coming up this month that is really exciting. It's the Metta Dance Party, which is coming up on Saturday the 20th from 7 to 10 p.m. And so this will be a really cool event where we'll have a talk, like a 30-minute talk, like Tashin who's leading this event. And then we'll do a 30-minute metta practice, so cultivating loving kindness, and then he'll DJ a metta dance party after that.
Oh my goodness. What does that, how does that look? I guess you'll have to come to find out,
I
right?
did it here last year. I couldn't make it, but I heard it was fantastic. So yeah, you can find tickets for that on our Eventbrite, or just like look on our website on the events page. That one will probably sell out, so if you're interested in coming, I would get a ticket for that one. So that'll be exciting.
Mm-hmm. Gotta love the Alembic.
Yeah.
So creative. In a good way. This is the modern Dharma. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Hannah. Thanks for everybody who helped make it happen tonight. Enjoy the tea out in the front area, and continue to connect if you like. I'll see you in 2 weeks.